So good evening, guys. I'm really thankful to Zirkonzahn and all the guys working in the office for the big support and also for the big opportunity to make also my lecture in English. So today I would like to speak about Prettau 2 and Prettau 2 Dispersive, techniques and method for large dental implant restoration. Today we'll be on focus on these two new materials by Zirkonzahn. And first of all, we will explain about Prettau 2. This is a new Prettau white, that means need to infiltrate. And the Prettau 2 Dispersive, it's a pre-colored zirconia. So, but let's speak about Prettau 2. In this case, I made this showcase, these two single crown. One, it's an older crown, and this is a younger crown. The difference, I made this difference because for sure the texture, the surface is different. Also, the characterization, the coloration of this kind of zirconia will be different. Also, in the palatal side, we can see the different construction of the surface. In the younger, we still a really nice shape, and in the older, we made, for example, this incisal abrasion on top. That's also, it's a molar. We will see also the difference with the posterior tooth. But let's see the technique about the infiltration. The technique is still the same, like the oldest Prettau, the traditional Prettau. I made 4 steps on the cervical side, 3 steps in the middle edge, and 1 step in the incisal edge. That's to make the passage of the color between cervical and incisal. In the incisal edge, for the younger tooth, we just put blue, no more, because if we start to put more color, also the value of the tooth start to go down, and this is a big mistake. For the oldest tooth, the situation is completely different, because for the oldest tooth, we have a low value. Also, the characterization is completely different, and we have the possibility to play a little bit with the colors. For example, we start with the blue after. This is always important to put the blue just for the translucency of the material. Then we start to put the lunar or violet. This is a kind of low value color to make the deep effect. We can put, for example, the deep effect between the mamelons to make the deep. Also, for example, in the medium side. And we can put, for example, some orange to make some characterization, to make a little bit older the tooth. This is the difference between the young tooth and the old tooth. And this is the coloration of the posterior tooth. As you can see, the technique is still the same, exactly the same like the traditional Prettau. But what is changing is the translucency, the effect after desinterization. You can see immediately the difference. If you are a customer by Zirkonzahn and you are already using the Prettau, you can see immediately the difference between the older and the new Prettau 2. This is the result of the posterior tooth. And this is the result after the grace. But let's see also the Prettau 2 in the full rehabilitation. This is another showcase just to explain the material. And of course, nobody say no about the build-up, the vestibular layering of Prettau. We can see also, we can do also the vestibular cutback like the traditional technique. We just reduce maybe 0.7, 0.8 in the vestibular part, just to make the layering of ceramic. This is the coloration, okay, the desinterization of the Prettau 2. Traditional infiltration with the color liquid. And it's also important to say there is a kit of color liquid for the Prettau 2. And this is the sintering result. You can see immediately the difference. This is an occlusal surface. And this is the result after the buildup of ceramic. And you have the possibility to make really natural tooth with this kind of zirconia. This is the lower jaw, and this is the upper jaw. Okay, this was the Prettau 2. Now we go to speak a little bit about dispersive, okay? It's really important in the Prettau 2 dispersive, if you wanted to use this kind of zirconia full contour, it's really important the finishing and texture of the surface, because we will still in full contour material. And also the infiltration, the effect after the sinterization depends from the structure made before the sintering. And this is the result after the sintering, without putting any color, any blue effect, any cervical effect. Just put it in the furnace without any color. But let's see also the Prettau 2 dispersive with the gingiva. So I made the protocol how to layering the gingiva on Prettau 2 dispersive. As you can see, we made a really nice texture of the surface. I really like to put the white light behind the structure to see the contrast with the surface. And let's start with the characterization of the zirconia. Okay, first of all, we start with infiltration. I use, for example, in this case, Dentin A2 for the 4th incisal, Dentin B3 for the canines, cervical A, I just put a little bit of cervical A in the cervical side and interproximal, and orange effect for the interproximal and cervical. And then blue effect and lune effect for the incisal edge. This is the palatal side. We use the same colors. But let's speak about pink layering. Okay, first of all, it's really important the distinction of the masses, the distinction of the colors. If you go to speak about ice ceramic by Zirkonzahn, it's really important to divide the color. For example, we have tissue 1 and tissue 2 that I use for the clear masses. Medium masses are tissue 3 and tissue 4, and the dark masses for the bottom of the gingiva, we use tissue 5 and tissue 6. Selection of the muscle. For example, this picture, it's a natural gingiva, and we can see the 6 color all around the gingiva. They are all 6 are present in this kind of natural gingiva. But it's really important to make the distinction of the space. Where is every muscle? Okay, let's see the protocol. This is our structure ready for the build-up. We can check our structure, our surface before the layering. This is the palatal side. This is the palatal with the light. Okay, we can see how the light can go inside of the zirconia. Okay, but let's speak about the protocol. So this is our structure. We start first of all with the stains bake. Okay, it's really important to start with the stains because in that way we already can see the final color of our restoration. We do also the same for the palatal side. And now we can start with the layering of the vestibular gingiva. So first of all, it's really important to make a wash bake to make the adhesion between ceramic and zirconia. And for the wash bake, I like to use yellow dentin and neutral dentin to make the root, and tissue 6 just put between the root and in the interproximal side, okay, to receive the dark bottom of the gingiva. This is the result after the wash bake. And now we start with the first layering. So we start with the tissue 5 to make the dark bottom, okay, just in the deep side. Then we continue with the number 4 to make the passage between the light color and the dark color tissue 5. And then we go to make also the internal characterization with tissue 3. The tissue 3, it's an opaque tissue. The tissue 6 is like a violet, and the transparent 3 it's a kind of white. Okay, to make the characterization, the internal characterization of the gingiva. Let's continue then with the shape, making with the tissue 2. The first bake. After the shape of the tissue 2, I like to use the tissue 5, the tissue 6 in the interproximal to make contrast with the neck, and tissue 3 to make the frenulum, okay, a little bit more opaque. This is just a picture a little bit closer. This is the first bake result. Okay, we can see immediately already some nice effect of the gingiva, but maybe we need some second layering about the shape. We have already get some dark color, so now we go to work only with the light color, tissue 1 and tissue 2 and transparent 3. This is a picture closer. It's really important to define the limit between teeth and gingiva, also to don't get dirty the surface of the teeth after the firing. And this is the result of the second bake. After the second bake, maybe we can make the glaze to close all the porosity of the gingiva, and then we go to put also some little characterization in the free gingiva, okay, just in the neck, mixing tissue 2 and low fusure dentin, 50-50 to make the correction. And this is the result after the hand polishing. This is a nice picture closer. Profile. And this is the palatal side. Okay, guys, that was, let me say, the introduction of the 2 zirconia, and also was my protocol to make also real cases. But let's see how can we put all this information in the real cases. This real case was made with Dr. Nicola De Angelis and Dr. Marco De Lorenzi here close to Savona. And this is the initial situation of the patient. The initial situation basically was 2 full arches, upper and lower, and become from a big surgery. And this is the situation of the immediate loading of the doctor. So in the lab, we received the 2 impressions with the transfer. We just made the models, and we start to make the project. The project 1 was a Prettau breed. That means in our software, we have the possibility to mount teeth and gingiva in the same project. So this is the result after the scan. We place our models in the individual articulator. We also receive two C2 scans, two intraoral scans that you can see in blue as a reference. And let's start with the workflow of the model here. First of all, we go to select the components of the two full arches. In this case, there was two MUA, multi-unit attachment, and this is the matching between the geometry of the model and the virtual geometry of the software. It's really important to make attention in this part because we have the possibility to make some mistake with the matching, and then our work will be wrong. We can see the nice matching just on the top of the connection of the scan marker. If the surface is completely blue, that means we have zero mistake between the two geometries. Okay, let's see. This is the teeth placement of the full arches. And after the placement, we milled the two structure in multi-stratum flexible. We also made the layering of the composite on top just to make the prototype. In that way, the doctor can see the aesthetic of the patient, can see the occlusion, and can make also some modification if we get some mistake. Okay. After the trying, the doctor say everything was quite good. Also, the mastication, the patient was happy with that. And so let's make the definitive. Okay, let's see how can we make the definitive. First of all, it's really important to make two bars. Now in our protocol, in our lab, every kind of Prettau bridge, like Toronto bridge, in that case, we like to use the titanium bar inside of the zirconia. This is a big advantage because we have the possibility to make stability between the implant. Also, we go to make more strength our zirconia. We can be a little bit relaxed and not too much dangerous. Okay. We already had the two prototype in our software, so we went to use this prototype, the scan of this prototype, as a reference to make the titanium bar. Okay. We were to make the strategy of this calculation for the titanium. We went to mill. After the milling, we go to scan the bar, and we go to use to take the bar as a single die. Okay, in that way we have the possibility to make a single margin around our bar to make the overconstruction in zirconia. You can see in this step we have the possibility to make to set the parameters about the semen gap. Usually I like to use 0.07 to get a really good passivity of the zirconia. And after that, we go to make the project 3 WhatsApp. Okay, we go to adapt the digital WhatsApp, and this is the same file of the prototype. And we went to mill in Prettau to Dispersive. Okay, there are the two full arches. We were to make surface texture, also some crack line with the bisturi, some nice picture. Always behind we put the white light to see the contrast with our job. And this is the characterization of Prettau to Dispersive. Because also really important, for example, this was a Prettau to Dispersive A2, but also I prefer to put some color to make more natural our restoration. We put a little bit of orange, base A, and also some blue in the incisal edge. This is the upper jaw, and this is the result after the sintering. Okay, we can see the difference between the incisal edge and the cervical. We have a little bit more chrome in the cervical side and a little bit more translucency in the incisal edge. Lower jaw. Some details of our structures. Compare with the light to see our texture. And also I like to make some picture of the palatal side. This is a really important side, and I really like to take some picture of that. Incisal edge with the abrasion, and we will go to also to make characterization in the abrasion with some orange, some brown. Okay, those are our 2 bars. And we go to make the fitting. Okay, when everything is really passive and we don't have any kind of tension between titanium and zirconia, we are ready to start our build-up of ceramic. So, wash bake, in the same times we applied some stain for the teeth, and we applied the gingiva ceramic for the wash bake. We fire, and then we start with our build-up with the masses, with different masses, tissue 4, tissue 5, tissue 3. And this is our result after the glaze. Some picture in profile. A little bit closer, we can see also a really nice incisal effect just in the full contour zirconia. Palatal side. It's really important to polish by hand. We're also using some rubber all the abrasion of the zirconia, okay, to don't get any tension between the full arches, to get really more smooth surface. Some more picture. Closer. You can see also the texture. If you remember the structure, the green stage of zirconia white was really rough, really aggressive, but after the glaze and also after the polishment by hand, it's really more smooth. Compare with the light. And this is the final case with the cemented bar. Okay, we anodize the bar in gold. I really like to use the gold color. Also, you can do in violet, pink, or even any more color. We glue it. Final pictures. And this is the patient with the final restoration. Okay, it's also nice to introduce this news because it's a new modifier software. I think a lot of you already know this kind of software. It's a new software made by Zirkonzahn, and it's really nice because in this software we have the possibility to make a little bit more advanced things, okay? Because we have many possibilities about models in this software. For example, we have the possibility to make a really nice mock-up. We have the possibility to make removable prostheses, wax-up, partial design, and orthodontics, really more things. Also the Boolean function. For example, if you want to match together some files, STL, we have the possibility to match together the files. And for this other case, I use this software. It's really nice to use this software because if you remember the last software, we had 3 different projects to make the final restoration. In this case, for example, we can have the possibility to go inside of the software and to decide whatever we want to do. For example, if we want to make the virtual articulator, I go to make the virtual articulator, the virtual placement of the model. I start immediately with the placement of the teeth, and we have the possibility to use also the teeth with the root. This is so important to get the right inclination of the axis. And you can see also the difference between the old program and this program, because, for example, in this program, we have the possibility to get the real color of the teeth, also the real color of the gingiva, and especially if you use, for example, face scans, looks really more natural. This is the final WOXA, so we match together the teeth and gingiva. And when our WOXA is done, we can just import our file in the Modelier just to finish the case. So we made a little bit digital texture before the milling, and we use this WOXA as a reference, like the case of before, to make our individual bar. We can see also the importance of the nesting, because with this zirconia, we have the possibility also to decide the chrome and the incisal after of the crown. For example, if we have a full rehabilitation, more or less we have the full space of the blank. But for example, in the right side, you can see the single unit. If you want to decide to put a little bit low the crown, we get a little bit more chrome. If we go to put a little bit up the crown, we get a little bit more incisal edge, and so more translucency. This is the result after the milling, after the sinterization. This was an old patient, so we had the possibility to make some really nice characterization of the surface. We start from the infiltration, so we put orange, cervical, some dentin C to get this kind of effect. Okay, this is the bridge already glazed, already finished with the layering of the gingiva. We glued our titanium bar, always in gold. And this is some picture, some palatal picture of the details. We can see a little bit closer. We put a lot of 3D stains. For example, in the abrasion of the incisal edge, we put some orange and brown. We put also some lune. This is the titanium bar cemented. And this is some picture, always with the light, the white light, to see the surface also of the gingiva, our texture, our frenulum. I want to just show some picture now. Also, in this case, we had really attention to polish by hand all the surface of the zirconia, because in the lower jaw we had a real antagonist. So we polished by hand all the contact. Characterization, you can see all the abrasion made smooth by rubber. Okay, and this is the final case mounted in the mouth patient. This case was made with Dr. Massimo Callerio from Milan. We are really thankful with him. This is the occlusal surface, and this is the final case with the smile of the patient. All in full contour zirconia. Okay, now I want to introduce also this last case. This last case, it's really particular because it's a partial case, and it was a really big challenge because we had the possibility to restore the 4 incisal and also the right canine of the patient. As you can see, we use again the modified software to make our WhatsApp. So we apply our teeth, we made our gingiva, and we import everything in our modeling to make the connection between WhatsApp and the components. We made a really nice prototype to see if everything was in the right direction. And it's for me, for my personal opinion, it's really important to make the prototype because if you can see, for example, in this case, we made this prototype and we can see, okay, the gingiva, it's quite good. The color of the violet, pink, it's really nice. But if we make concentration in our teeth, we can see immediately the canine that we restore, it's too much light. So we had already the information to make a little bit darker in the definitive. Okay, we printed the model. Okay. We were to make the texture, really nice texture in the surface. And we start to make the characterization of this zirconia. Okay, about zirconia, we milled the zirconia Prettau 2 Dispersive A2. And we use, for example, in the incisal edge to make a really low value color, we use the lune, this violet effect. For the canine, we use Dentin A4 and C4 for the body. And the orange also to make this abrasion just on the bottom of the canine. For the incisal edge, we use also some blue for the translucency. And for the 4th incisal, we use A3 mixed with the C2 dentin. In the cervical side, we apply cervical A and some orange and some lune in the gingiva. Okay, especially in the bottom of the gingiva to make some deep effect, I like to use the lune. This is some picture about the AWACS texture before to apply the stains. And this is some step about the construction of the build-up. As you can see, it's the same protocol of our showcase that I showed you before. So first of all, I like to apply the stains. In the second stage, I like to apply to make the build-up of the gingiva, and then we just go to polish by hand and some glaze. This is the final picture of our structure after the glaze. And this is the final situation in the mouth, okay? Respect to the prototype, the color it's much better. The color between the two canines, it's more similar. Also the root, it's really similar. We applied some stains with the orange. Also, even the gingiva, I think it's quite good. The most important thing is the patient was happy, and also the doctor was happy with this situation. This is also a nice picture because respect the precision in the hour model and in the mouse patient. Conclusions. If we go to speak about the conclusion of the Prettau 2 dispersive, for me it's really important to say the versatility of the material, because we can use this material for the single unit crown, for the full arch cases. Even if you want to use some titanium bar, we can do it. So we have a really good versatility of this material. Second conclusion, it's about the fidelity of the color, because if you want to get just A3 color from the guide shade, we just put our zirconia in the furnace and we get A3, A2, C4, whatever. The degree of translucency, for me, it's quite perfect, because it's not so. It's not low translucency like the Prettau, the regular Prettau, and it's not so high translucency like the anterior Prettau. So we are between, and this is quite natural. It's really similar to the natural tooth. And fourth, maybe can be also the first one. The fourth advantage is about the faster processing times, because we don't need to infiltrate the zirconia. If we want to get really fast job, we can do it with this zirconia. So guys, I got to send you, before the conclusion, I want to send you some questions. I will send you some questions. Okay. You have the possibility to respond to every one of these. And for sure, if you want to have a question right now, you can write me some question, and maybe I can just respond to someone just in live now, or you can just write me later to Zirkonzahn, or maybe in the official page of our laboratory. I want to also send a big thanks to our guys in the lab for the big support that they give me every day. Or you can just write me in the official page of on my Facebook or Instagram. Thanks a lot for the attention. Again, I want to say thanks to Zirkonzahn for this big opportunity. And I hope see you soon again in some congress or course or wherever.